a law, UCP 600, as rules rather than a law, is applicable when the credit expressly indicates that it is subject to these rules. For example, in a SWIFT credit, field 40E indicates UCP latest version. In a fax or letter credit, there should be similar expressions to the following two examples. At least indicates like the second one. This credit is subject to UCP 600. What is a credit? UCP defines the credit as any arrangement, however named or described, that it is irrevocable and thereby constitute a definite undertaking of the issuing bank to honor a complying presentation. 无论如何命名或描述，信用证是一份不可撤销的协议，是相符交单条件下开证行确定的付款承诺。It can be simplified as a written undertaking of payment, 一份书面的付款保证 given by a bank, 银行给出的 It is conditional, 这个保证是有条件的 The condition is a complying presentation, 相符交单 That is, terms in letter of credit are complied with, 单单相符，单正相符 In summary, credit is a bank's conditional written undertaking of payment. This case helps us to understand the condition. In this case, the credit described the goods differently from the contract. We shipped the goods as contracted, which means the document didn't comply with the stipulations of credit. The condition was not satisfied, so the issuing bank refused to make payment. Please think if it works to ship as stipulated in credit without any amendment. Let's move on to figure out characteristics of letter of credit. Bank credit is the most outstanding feature of letter of credit. The issuing bank takes primary liability for payment. 在信用证业务中，银行承担第一性付款责任，因此信用证是银行信用。Letter of credit is independent. It is a separate transaction from the underlying contract. 信用证独立于合同。This chart helps us to understand letter of credit's independence better. Applicant, 申请人 beneficiary, 受益人 and issuing bank, 开证行 are three primary parties involved in letter of credit. Applicant of letter of credit is the importer and the beneficiary is the exporter. They enter into a sales contract and agree to make payment by credit. Then the importer applies to its bank for opening a letter of credit. When the issuing bank accepts the application, there is a second contract between the applicant and the issuing bank. A third contract is the LC. Instructed by the application, the issuing bank issues a letter of credit and sends it to the exporter. When it becomes effective, it is an independent contract between the exporter and the issuing bank. The importer has no right to interfere. In LC, banks only deal with documents, not with goods, services, or performances to which the documents may relate. Complying presentation is the only condition that issuing bank sets for payment. Besides the three primary parties, there may be other parties involved in a letter of credit. They are advising bank, 通知行, negotiating bank, 议付行, confirming bank, 保对行, paying bank, 付款行, reimbursing bank, 偿付行. The first three will be discussed later. Let's talk about the differences between the paying bank and reimbursing bank here. Every credit has its paying bank, but not every credit has its reimbursing bank. A paying bank is a drawee bank on whom the draft is drawn, usually the issuing bank itself, who is responsible of checking the documents against the credit. A reimbursing bank is a clearing bank, who is responsible only for paying as instructed, not responsible for checking documents. Let's follow this chart to see how a letter of credit is used in international trade. The importer and the exporter contract to make payment by letter of credit. Then, the importer, as the applicant, applies to its bank, the issuing bank, for issuing a letter of credit. The issuing bank issues the letter of credit and gives it to the advising bank in beneficiary's country. The advising bank advises the letter of credit to the beneficiary as requested. After making sure nothing needs amendment, the beneficiary ships the goods as contracted and obtains bill of lading. Then he prepares all the required documents and asks the advising bank to help transfer the documents to the issuing bank. The issuing bank checks the documents against the letter of credit. If there is no discrepancy, the issuing bank will ask the advising bank to help transfer the money to the beneficiary. On the other hand, the issuing bank presents documents to the importer, the applicant. When payment is made, the issuing bank will release documents to the importer, who can take delivery of the goods with bill of lading. If the credit is negotiable, things change in steps shown with the red lines. The beneficiary may present documents to a negotiating bank, nominated by a letter of credit, who purchases complying documents and advances funds to the beneficiary at a discount. Then it presents the documents to the issuing bank to get reimbursement. Other things are the same. Negotiable letter of credit provides finance to the beneficiary.